Hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you are lucky enough to be doing it too. I am Bushka on Blitz, and I'm red hot and ready to go. Taking off for New York in about 10 days' time, so very excited about all that. I can't wait to get to the Twister Cup and see a little bit of Blitz done right in the esports arena. Now, today we're going to be talking about the Jackson. We're going to Jackson. We're going to mess around. Look out, Jackson Town. This thing is actually quite a fun little tank. It's a tier 6 TD. It's a turreted TD, and for quite some time that was one of the very, very few TDs that had the distinction of being a turreted TD. However, there are now quite a few of them in the game. Every nation just about has the commonplace turreted TD line. And it's very interesting to see that there's two choices of TDs at tier 6 in the American line that are turreted. You've got both the Jackson, which was one of the originals, and the Hellcat. And they're exceptionally similar tanks in a lot of ways. And what the Jackson does have is an excellent gun. I mean, it's got an excellent gun depression, and reasonable mobility. 42 kilometers an hour is nothing to sneeze at. 30 degrees of traverse on your tracks, which is actually very, very impressive, and 16 degrees of traverse on your turret, which is actually very, very bad. But the two balance out together. So if you can learn to actually turn the turret at the same time as you turn your tracks when you're in close proximity to other tanks, then you'll do very, very well. What this tank does do well at, though, even though it's only got a 240 meter view range, is setting up with, say, binoculars and a camo net and a turret, and letting the exceptional power of an extended view range and extended camo do the job for you. Now, the problem it's got is that the Hellcat's just a better tank. The Hellcat doesn't have nearly the armor of the Jackson, but that doesn't make any difference because the Jackson just doesn't have really any armor. The big change with the Hellcat and the Jackson is, one, the Hellcat will do 65 kilometers an hour, and the other, the Jackson, will do 42 kilometers an hour. They both have the 90mm ATM-3, the anti-tank gun, which is a lovely weapon. They both have 30 degrees of traverse in their tracks and 16 degrees in their turret. And they've both got the same pen numbers and everything, 10 degrees of gun depression. The big difference is the speed, and for mine, speed is more important when you get this kind of a tank than the actual armor profile, given that the Jackson's armor is like, you'll need 90mm of pen to go through the front, which is nothing. Now, obviously, the Hellcat is far more prone to get HE'd and heshed, which is a sad state of affairs, but what are you going to do? All in all, though, I was quite surprised driving this thing. I'll just run you through the AT M3, the 90mm. It's 7 rounds a minute at 160 pen, which is a bit poor on the AP, but 243 on the APCR, which is just grand, and 225 alpha, which is a nice dose, a good blend of DPM and alpha damage at this tier. And with the turret, it's actually very, very easy to set shots up. And you can see I'm having no problems with 160mm of pen getting through most of these guys. And just for your information, 160mm of pen is basically around about the same as the Comet gets on its standard AP at tier 7. And a lot of people have driven the Comet, so if you've ever driven the Comet, you'll know what's what there. Now, the big key with the gun is the 1.7 second aim time. You got 1.7 seconds of aim time, which means very, very small reticle. And you'll note, even when I'm driving around, this thing's got not a lot of bloom on the gun. It could have less. You'd love to be able to mount a vertical stabilizer, but that would be quite dastardly to give that to a tier 6 TD. Anyway, I digress. I found that the tank worked best as a sniper. Its armor profile and its lack of turret traverse means that distance is probably more friendly to it. A turreted TD is just a king, though, in the ability you have to set shots up. You can also use the 10 degrees of gun depression. I mean, look how easy it is to get this gun down and then just back away. And that's how you really want to be playing a tank like this. I was actually really impressed. I didn't have a lot of time for the Jackson when I first did it, but you can see the gun performs really well. It struggles less with the lights and the super movers than you'd think, simply because it's not really bad mobility-wise. It just gets shaded by the Hellcat, because the Hellcat does nearly 70 kilometers an hour, and that makes people think that the Jackson's quite slow, and it's not. It's 42 kilometers an hour as a top speed, which is right up there in terms of a TD. And you can see here, getting through very small cracks and nooks into that KV-1S not a problem. As long as you're resetting your camo and working it that way, you'll be just fine and dandy. And the 10 degrees of gun depression really lets you get shots off quite simply. Your armor's pants though, so make sure that you always go back to hard cover when available and you stay as far behind as possible. You can push up in certain situations, and obviously with 30 degrees of traverse, there's a lot of non-turreted TDs that you can just simply go around and either COD or side scrape and get the job done that way. But look, I'll show you a game that I ran the Jackson in on dead rail. Nothing spectacular. I mean, this isn't a really long review. It's going to be under 10 minutes for the first time in quite some time, because for once I feel like this is such a simple tank. It's such a straightforward process with this thing. It really is not suited to up close and personal. The turret traverse is too slow, but the gun is very, very reliable. The penetration numbers are very, very reliable. You'll see a lot of tier 5 tanks and you'll be able to put the hurt on them, and at tier 7 you've got more than enough pen to get the job done. I mean, the top end of your pen at 243 is nearly the same as a Panther at tier 7, which is one of the better penning mediums. So if you've ever driven a Panther, you know how easy it is to get shots to drop. I really think that the tank's got a nice place, even in the fast-paced playstyle of tier 7 and 6. In fact, I think this is the kind of TD you want to be driving. I'm also doing a Churchill gun carrier review. And this is where you want to be driving it too. Like, you want to find it in situations where you can whack the gun up and let it sing. And doing the gun carrier review, you realize just how advantageous it is to run a tank with a turret on it that doesn't have very, very poor mobility. And you can see that Hellcat there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Hellcat's super quick, but it really struggles in terms of armor. Straight through it, no problems whatsoever. You've got a little bit of a gun mantlet, but I wouldn't stress too much about that. Yeah, the Jackson, go out and get it. It's a nice tank to grind. It's probably not a keeper. It's probably not a tank that I would hang on to forever. But, I mean, you can see the 90mm is a really nice gun. And when you have to push up, you can push up with that TD, with the 10 degrees of gun depression. You can hill fight. It's got a lot going for it. It's just not an overpowered tank. It's nice to find a tank like this that's right in the wheelhouse of where you'd think most tanks should be. It's solid. Good gun, good mobility, gun depression. Run it with a pair of binocs and a camo net like you can see I'm running here, and you can really, really aggressively snipe. And by that I mean take shots when people are at 250 meters and even slightly inside that without getting spotted, which is important if that's the kind of gameplay you're after. So as always, guys, thanks very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, listen to the podcast. You can subscribe to that on iTunes. Just look up Bushka on Blitz, or there's an RSS feed there which is available. I'll put that in the channel, in the info at the bottom of the page. Thanks very much to the patrons for helping keep the channel afloat. It's a near thing at the moment. My wife and I are having some really great discussions about what we do in the future. I want to stick with this and I want to keep going because I feel like the channel's growing, and I feel like the game is growing, and I feel like that Wargaming are investing in the game, doing esports and the like, and that it's going to cater to a larger and wider variety. It's on Steam now. There's a PC client version of the game. It seems very much to me to be something that I want to be involved in for a long time, and I enjoy the community, and I enjoy the people, and I enjoy the camaraderie of running around with my mates in tanks. So if you do want to become part of that community, click on the Patreon link and we'll go for gold. Until next time, guys, look after your families as always. And as we approach the holiday season, make sure you don't work too hard, and stay safe on the battlefield.